Hello there. This has been a long time in the making, but the Facebook consumer privacy settlement payout finally happened, at least for me. It came after I got an email, I believe that said within 4 to 6 weeks I would get the payment. And then it happened about 4 days after I got an email very recently that said the payment would come out on my preferred payment method, which was prepaid MasterCard. That took 4 days, and it's finally here. And in the meantime, I had been searching on Reddit, lots of discussion there about this. You see, my amount that I received for them going against what they promised us to not use your personal information this way, that way, and the other. Well, Zuckerbergstein can certainly afford to take on the cost of doing business and pay out however many, I guess, millions of people. From the reports that I've heard, anywhere from around $10 to $30-something, 30-something being the high part, the top. And what does that mean? Well, rumor has it, there could be proof. I didn't see anything that was like, yeah, I worked for Facebook and, I know that you got this because of this or this because of that. Basically, if you were in the teens for your payout, like if they paid you out $12, $13, then maybe your privacy rights weren't trampled on very much. And that would have had to do with your settings, that I guess they respected some of those, where you do your best to hide some of your information, keep some type of anonymity, some type of privacy on Facebook, and you switched all those different settings. If you read a guide on how to keep myself hidden on Facebook or increase my privacy, whatever. So if you were paid in the 30s, then they did you super dirty, and there was really no help by you to prevent them from doing maximum damage. So, I guess everything they could possibly know about me, I'm sure, was sold off, and they made more from marketing companies and whatever other companies or entities to pay me, and the efforts I had to go through to get paid $31.01 from the Facebook Consumer Privacy Settlement the Facebook Consumer Privacy Settlement. So I did get mine. If you are not familiar with class action lawsuits, I'll put a link in the description. You could trust the link. They're not scams. Always read everything. Do a little research before you start putting in your personal information. But there are class action lawsuits happening all the time, and you are more than likely, as a consumer, as a U.S. citizen, to have purchased the products that are part of the class action lawsuit, the service like this that are parts of these class action lawsuits. They have laws in place to not make it so entirely difficult for you to be able to sign up and be a part of it. And eventually, and you'll get email updates, eventually, when it all gets said and done, a judgment will be levied, and then they have to set up how to pay people. And this is how they pay people nowadays with class action lawsuits. It's all digital. You can get a paper check if you want one. I've seen that option for most of them. But typically you can do PayPal, Venmo, like I did here with a virtual prepaid card, which basically I'm going to have a card that I can use. Maybe the funds expire in 6 months, a year, and you can pay a bill with it. You can buy some knick-knack paddywhacks on Amazon with it, and you do whatever you want. And you can even basically use them now as a physical card, because most of the time you can add them to your Apple Wallet or your Google Wallet, and then you go pay in person with your phone and pull from these funds. So you're not limited to just typing it in on a computer, which is pretty neat. So there you go. That's what I got. And I'm like, I don't know, did I want this much? Because what does that tell me based on what I told you I read about this? Or, did I want less? I don't know, man. I'm really, it's something that beats you down, your privacy, because it seems like you can be as prepared and diligent about going about trying to protect yourself and opting out of this, opting out of that. No, you don't want to share this. Do these companies really respect all of that? There's so much fine print everywhere. I really don't believe for a second at this point that every one of these companies and entities, whoever's accessing and once this access pays for this information, they have it. They know what movie I like, what websites I like, what I spend in gas every month, what I'm shopping for, searching for, and if I spent an extra however many hours every month with every new thing that I signed up for or looked at, or every, pop-up that said, do you accept or opt out cookies and everything else, would it make a difference? And how much? I'd love to find a YouTube video or something that said, yeah, if you took your time every time you went to a website and signed up to a website like Facebook, Reddit, Amazon, you signed up for an Amazon Prime account, you signed up for Netflix. If you took the time to opt out all of this, you would have spent approximately X amount of hours. You've prevented approximately this much. And then to be able to check on that and see how that changed when 2 years later, a class action lawsuit comes out about that place where you signed up and you spent an extra 45 minutes trying to lock down your privacy, only to find out none of that mattered. It was just pretend. It was just little things for you to click and feel better. And the cost of them doing business was, might get a class action, might not. If we do, how much would that cost us? They do the numbers, the bottom line. And in this instance, if they sold everything of mine that they took and, I guess illegally because of this class action, did they make over $31.01? If so, how much? I think we know the answer to that. So anyway, if you're still waiting on yours, I bet you're getting it soon, because I started reading, seems like 2 months ago, people getting their settlement amount from this Facebook consumer privacy settlement. And then I finally got mine today. So is this something to be happy about? Yeah, I guess this will get me, depending on where you live, it'll get you what, half a tank? That's something. That's X amount of miles of travel. Because I firmly believe that I could have gotten this settlement and had this brought to my attention or not. And how much does it change things? If you have any thoughts about this information, helpful tips, tricks, how much did you receive? Leave a comment. I'm sure people would be interested in having a little banter here. Let's talk about it. I'm Ryan. The channel's Silly Reviews. Been around for a long time. Greatly appreciate it if you would like to hit like, maybe subscribe to the channel, check out another video. Thanks so much for watching.
Of the population small, yet they hold the media, control it all. Presidential cabinet